Unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you've heard the news already. Vince McMahon has officially retired from the WWE. And I know I'm kinda late to talk about this, but fight me. To be completely honest, I don't know how to feel. The news is still so fresh that I don't know if I'm happy or if I'm upset. But there is one thing I do know. The WWE, as well as the wrestling business as a whole, is about to see some major changes. I feel that these changes will be good news for some fans, and bad news for others. But of course, let's talk about it. Okay, you can say what you want about Vince, but you can't dispute that he's one of the biggest names in professional wrestling history, or at least has been for the past 40 years. It's pretty easy for some fans to discount what he's done for the wrestling business if you take into account the recent misconduct investigation, which is looking pretty damn bad right now, not gonna lie, and the years and years of bad booking. But Vince grew the WWE into a global mainstream phenomenon and produced a boatload of talent through the 90s, 2000s, and 2010s. It's so weird to say that now. Regardless of how you feel about it, the company itself is well known all over the world and has been a staple of pop culture for decades. I grew up watching WWE and appreciate all of the good that Vince McMahon has produced over the years. And to that I say, thank you, Vince. It's pretty crazy to see him finally retire, but I'm sure we can all agree that it was probably for the best. Misconduct aside, the WWE has not been good for a long time now. Most fans that were around for the Attitude and Ruthless Aggression era stopped watching because the product progressively got worse. We can put some blame on the writers and producers behind the scenes, but the majority of the blame has to go to Vince. He had the final okay when it came to creative decisions and the scripting of the shows. And he even chased away multiple fan favorite talents that we all thought they were going to be used a whole lot better than how they were actually presented. Some of them I completely understood, while others had me scratching my head a bit. It was so frustrating going day by day wondering if one of your favorites was going to get released because they looked at Vince wrong or sneezed too loud or something. The bottom line is that WWE needed serious change, and that wasn't going to happen while Vince was still in the picture. The product had gotten so bland that Raw and SmackDown only averaged 1.5 to 2 million viewers per show. It's so bad that it made people believe that AEW is the better product when in actuality, it's the same damn thing but with longer matches and blood. And I swear that's not me just hating on AEW, it's the truth. Made a video on that actually, you should check it out, 10 out of 10 listening experience if you ask me. It's been reported that Nick Khan and Stephanie McMahon will be co-CEOs, and that Triple H will resume his position as head of creative and talent relations. That's cool and everything, but fans need to remember, Vince could still have some say from the outside. As of right now, I don't believe he's completely gone. But at the same time, we don't really know who from the board of directors outed him. I'm not going to go too deep into my speculation, but I feel that things may just be a little tense behind the scenes to say the least. With all that being said, should we expect major changes business-wise? Yeah, probably not. But we should see a gradual change when it comes to creative. NXT 2.0 has a bit of a split perception with wrestling fans. Some fans love that it's been changed to an actual developmental program with young athletes, while others still shout at the clouds about how they miss black and gold. And those same fans blame Triple H for the NXT change, but in actuality, NXT 2.0 is a byproduct of Vince and Bruce Pritchard. As a matter of fact, Vince is responsible for the end of Black and Gold NXT 2, which is kinda why we saw childish angles and stories that we would see on the main roster, instead of the mix of indie wrestling and sports entertainment that we fell in love with Black and Gold NXT. Regardless of how you feel about 2.0, we can't really blame Triple H for it. So if we take all of that into account and focus on NXT before the Vince influence, Triple H knew exactly what he was doing, and he was doing it right. I saw a lot of obnoxious AEW diehard fans on social media celebrating the retirement of Vince McMahon. Even little Tony Boy had something slick to say about it. But they're all failing to realize something pretty big here. AEW has only been averaging around 800 to 900,000 viewers on Dynamite weekly. With the WWE being a can of hot ass lately, and still pulling in around 2 million viewers on their main shows, Mr. Connie Boy should be a little concerned with Triple H being head of creative now. Vince had his sticky old man NDA fingers all over creative, and WWE still pulled in those numbers. If Triple H just so happens to bring back some of the available talent that was released, and makes the shows better story-wise, deductive reasoning would have one believe that the WWE viewership should go up a little more. Triple H is obviously not Vince. He brought NXT from a glorified game show to one of the most loved wrestling shows in years. With the right talent in the right spots, he can easily do this for Raw and SmackDown. I firmly believe that the WWE is in for a great rest of the year. Tony Khan is still going to do his thing with AEW, and that's okay, but I feel that the gap in viewership is going to become even wider. Me personally, I could care less about this AEW WWE war, but if you're someone that gets off to that and you pay attention to the viewership and the demos and all that crap, this is definitely a cause for concern on the AEW side. Needless to say, things are starting to get very interesting in the wrestling world. The WWE is about to change for the better, and I'm pretty excited for it. It won't be a drastic change, but as long as the shows become watchable, I'm all for it. It's pretty crazy how it has to be this way as a result of the misconduct investigation, but it is what it is. Fans about to be eating good now. I'm very optimistic to see what Triple H brings to the main shows creatively, and I just hope that wrestling as a whole becomes fun again. But I want to know what you think. How do you feel about Vince McMahon retiring? Do you think that nothing is really going to change? Or do you think that this is the dawn of a new era in the WWE? As always, let me know.